Bring it on Facebook. Hello, good morning, everyone, to another episode of A Widow's Journey to Becoming You. Last week, we were able to talk about, what is fear and really step overcoming that fear. And today's episode is going to be all about how do we come out of it. But before we do that, just wanted to recap a couple of things from last week's call. But in order to do that, I'm bringing back my co-host, Monika, who's going to talk about what she has coined as her acronym for fear. So, what does the FEAR mean? So, Monika, I'm pulling you in here. Would you mind just recapping for us from last week what you're telling us as your go-to model for fear?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Good morning, everyone, and it's delight to be here and discuss about our fears, which is we go through every day. So my acronym for fear last week we discussed was forgive, emerge, accept, and revive. So these are the definition. This is the definition I change for fear. And yes.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And as we were talking about fear last week, one of the things that it is so easy to say, okay, just like step through it, right? Be courageous because courage is stepping through that fear, even though you're scared, right? And
Yes.
so within that fear, what can you do right now to ask yourself, what is it that has that fear coming up for you? So, the one question that I brought up last week, which I'm just going to put on the screen here as a reminder for those of you, anyone who hasn't watched episode or listened to episode 1, I encourage you to go back to that. But as you're sitting there today and you're thinking about the unknown and what is coming up for you and all these things that there are to be afraid of the new year, afraid of like the unknown with COVID. There's a new vaccine that just came out. There's all these decisions you have to make as a widow, so many things. But what do you know? Or, and ask yourself this, what do I know to be true for myself? Because in the grand scheme of things, yes, things are going to be scary. Things are going to be
Yes.
hard. Things are going to keep coming up over and over and over again. But what do you know to be true? So, Monika, you gave one example last week of, as you thought about even traveling with your kids, that was super scary. We talked about how to navigate that. But you have done things over and over and over again, as well as I.
Yes,
So I just like
absolutely.
to honor you for that, but then also say what has continually allowed you to continue stepping forward regardless of what it is, because I know the fears keep coming.
Yes, it
um,
does.
but remind us what you're doing over and over and over again.
So my thing is that I do not focus on fear. I acknowledge it and I measure it in my head. What are the things I'm afraid of, not taking an action, or just things not going right, or it is too much for me? Then I make myself, do you have a choice? You don't. I ask these questions mentally to myself. Do I have a choice? No. Can somebody can help? If I ask for help, it's a burden. I mean, I don't want to be burdened where I can't do it. Yes. And those are my things, I ask question to myself, overcome it. What if yes, it may not go the way I wanted? That's okay. Let me try myself. If it doesn't work, I'm going to ask for help. And there's lots of help available. But these are the things, you need to step up. You need to be courageous. You just need to make your mindset that you can do it. Yes, in the first time, 2 times, it may not turn out the way you think it, but it will work. You will gain confidence. Yes, you're right, Erin. You will gain confidence over time. And taking step by step, yes, it's great journey. And how about yourself?
Yeah. So I'm so glad you asked. I'm putting up words on the screen that when I hear you speaking are like coming up for me. So first I did hear courage, right?
Yes.
Being courageous is stepping out there regardless of whether whether or not you know what's going to be happening next,
Right.
and then having the confidence because you're doing things over and over and over. And guess what? You now know you can do hard things. So for
Yes.
me, like, what has allowed me to continually do things, and we talked about some stuff last week, right?
Yes.
There's some things that we can just naturally do without even realizing it. So whenever you think about this fear that's coming up for you, I want you to just, this is something that I do, go back and recall a time where you faced a similar fear in your past, and what did you do, and what do you know to be true? Like, this fear is may keep coming up, but you're going to face it and you're going to push through it. But there's probably some steps that you took along the way, right? Like,
Yes.
if you're a Christian, you have faith, you believe in God, then it's continually giving the things that are out of your control to him, right? If it's
Yes.
really being able to be empowered and understand, like, even the steps that you need to take to get there, then it's doing a little bit of research and preparing and allowing myself to know that, like, even though I don't know all the outcomes that are going to happen, I have the framework for whatever it is that I'm experiencing for the first time that is causing this fear and what feels like fear to come up in me. So for me, it shows up as anxiety, right? I get this, like, this protective signal going off of me, like, oh my goodness, like, how do I get past this anxious feeling? But as soon as I take those first two steps that I do personally for myself, and really understanding what it is that I need to do, and knowing, like, I have everything I need right inside of me. I know what I'm capable of. I have been resourceful in the past. A lot of times what keeps, like, people from this fear, though, is the beliefs. We've
That's
talked
right.
about this.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, so today I think let's talk about these beliefs a little bit, because you mentioned, writing down, like, and I had given everyone an assignment from last week, just writing down what is coming up for them and really understanding, like, what is triggering this fear? Like, what does this fear look like? What do you hear whenever you, like, imagine this fear? And what do you see? Like, because for some people, if they amplify it and they see something really huge in front of them, once they take a step back, things just start to come into focus. And it doesn't look so much like fear. It looks like a little bit of maybe uncertainty, or a little bit of lack of confidence, or whatever the case might be. So, as you think about, like, your own beliefs, you've mentioned a couple things already. What is the foundation of your own beliefs that has allowed you really to be able to continue to overcome? What do you tell yourself on a
Yes.
regular basis?
Yes. Yes. No, the thing is, the points you pointed, bring it out. They are perfect. And we need to change our belief system. We need to really change belief system and make new beliefs that you can do it. And yes, and just don't focus on fear. Don't focus on fear too much that it overtakes you. Bring fear into faith. You're right. Yes, this has been great. Since my husband left us 3 years ago, I have been connecting to God, and now I journal every day. I don't ask anyone. Anytime I have doubt, I'm doubting myself, I ask God. I'm like, give me sign, connect me to the resources I have, send me something, send me a message anyhow, and it will come through people. I mean, God will not come, but God will send his own people to you for help. So this is my get go now, and day by day, I am gaining lots of strength to do stuff. So this is one of the things for me. Turn fear into faith. Put
Yeah,
your
turn.
fear, put your fear into faith, and that's it.
I love that. I'm typing that one out right here to put up on the screen. Turn fear into faith.
Yes.
Um, Absolutely. And I understand. Okay, if you're listening out there, oops, I accidentally clicked on courage again. I'm trying to turn fear into faith here. Come on. The computer doesn't want to allow me to put it up on the screen. Oh, turn fear into
Oh,
fear. No, no, no.
see,
See, it's constantly, I'm gonna hide that real quick. Give me just a moment here.
no problem.
I literally can't even type out the words. That's how much the enemy wants us, right? So
Yes.
I know there are so many people out there that when they lose a loved one, their faith is shaken. They don't understand why this is happening. And I wish I could reach out and share with everyone out there like why things happen, but unfortunately like we won't learn that in this lifetime. And it's okay to be angry. Like, it's okay to be angry with what has happened because that's a part of the process, right?
Yes.
But then
Yes.
it's like turning that anger, into it. There comes a point when you got to move through that and start to take action and understand that, like, this isn't always going to feel like this. And so that acceptance piece of it is so huge because in order to continually move throughout this fear or whatever it is that keeps coming up for you, it's being willing to accept those emotions as they come and not necessarily get stuck in them. Now, so many times I see people that are feeling these emotions and they're sweeping them under
Yes.
the rug and sweeping them, or they're boxing them up and setting them aside. They're like, "Ooh, I'm not going to deal with that right now." And what do we know? Like, if you move things into the dark and you sweep them under the rug, they start to fester and they start to grow. And so
Absolutely.
just like every other emotion, it's normal that this fear can like build up and feel really big and scary if we aren't facing it on a regular basis. But to step through it, I love what you said, because we're going to start to turn that fear into faith. And what does that mean? It means that trusting, like, that no matter what happens next, it is going to happen the way that it's supposed to. However, that does not mean that you can't sit there and not do anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
I
it's
totally agree with you. Yes.
yeah, so it's being resourceful and really
Yes.
being able to do the things that you can manage on a daily basis. If people have followed me before, they've heard me talk about balance, right? And you said that there are some things that you do on a regular basis. You just mentioned them that you do to start turning that fear into faith, correct?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
you connect with God and you really like lay it on him and you're like, open up the things that I need to be able to see in myself. Because as we talked about last week, life can start happening and things pile up and they pile up and they really start to build up over time. And one of my friends that I went on a walk with the other day was telling me this, and I was like, I'm going to give you a shovel for Christmas. That is my gift to you. And she kind of laughed. It's like, this imaginary shovel, because we're going to start digging our way out, because everything that's piled on top of that is
Right.
only going to amplify those feelings later on. So we're just going to like tackle them as they come. We're going to keep things cleared out of the way. So as we keep living life, we are truly able to move past some of this
Yes,
stuff that's
yes.
coming up.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. Right. When you have a fear, yes, you get angry that you left alone to do things. I mean, in this world, we would not understand why things happen, but I believe whatever happened, it's for better, you know. Like before with my husband, this world was unknown to me, and it just bring different side of me, and making myself special and know that I'm capable of doing work, I'm capable of doing everything. In some things where my husband thought, his family thought that I am nothing, you know and which is a great thing, and I honor myself and I honor God to let me recognize my abilities and to keep going. So that's the thing. I mean, we don't be angry. I would say, if you're in a fear, please don't be angry on whatever situation happened, because you have no control. You have no control on the situation, but you have control on how you react, how you're going to move on. You keep doing the proper thing, you keep doing at your best, and things will fall in place. It may take time, it may take years, it may take 5 years, 10 years, because not because you deserve that, not it's because you need improvement in yourself. You need improvement in yourself, and that's why you're getting this time. God is giving you time to prepare yourself for something better. That's what I learned, and I appreciate every opportunity coming my way, every challenge which is coming. Yes, it make me angry, it make me anxious too, and sometimes I just can't bother to just think about it, because your mind get overwhelmed. but it is normal. Let it come. Let the feelings, so let those feelings come, let those fear come. But instead of, keeping them with you, you need to let them go. You need to let them go by focusing on how can you come out.
Yeah, how can you come out of it and
Yes,
looking for those gifts? I know, many of us don't want to think about like what we've gone through as a gift, but think about even if we're not looking at our current situation, right? That we've lost our loved ones. I want you to take a journey back to throughout your life and see how far you've come. What has come up for you along your journey? What decisions have you made because of other things that you've gone through? And maybe now you have the gift of resilience, you have the gift of courage, you have the gift of strength, you have the gift of whatever that is for you because of all of these things that you went through. And maybe those things have prepared you for whatever that you're going through today. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but you have had this unique human experience for you. And yes, it's normal, especially early on, to like even like first of all just get through whatever it is that you're going through, but to
yes,
also question all of those things that have happened. And of course, like we are not saying that what has happened to you, like you, if you had the choice, right? You would always choose to be able to maybe have your loved one in your life or to make a different choice so the outcome would be different today. But that is not the way that life works, unfortunately. So really being able to relinquish control over those things that you don't have control over is so important. I was just talking with a good friend
right,
yesterday, and
right.
she's like, "Ooh, I have this, family member who I'm really struggling with how to navigate this really difficult relationship because she's bitter and she doesn't like me and I never have said anything. It's, oftentimes something that's out of our control that's happening in our life." And I'm like,
Yes,
well, is there anything like you personally can do to change the outcome of the situation? And so she starts looking, and it's a matter of setting boundaries and and
yes,
and articulate what she is and isn't willing to accept, and just being able, again, what do you know to be true to yourself, right? Like that change has to come from within. It
that's right.
truly does. And it comes from within your heart and your soul and in your head, because as humans, we have this brain that's been wired for however many years you've been alive. And changing that is trying to like reprogram a computer, right? You have to not only like change this one thought, but you have to do it over and over and over again. It's a new thought, and then it's a new belief, and then it's a different step that you're choosing to take on your journey. And as you continue to do that over and over and over again, like you're going to be busting through this fear and worry and anxiousness and all of that stuff without any problems. So
Yes.
if you could leave them with an empowering message for today, what would that be?
Uh, I have a message. I just created the message as a she. Who is she? Right. So let me bring that in. Just give me a second. I am going to bring it in. So I bring is the acronym for she as a woman. So I have as a sincere, honest, and reverent. So let's go with that. I mean, as a woman, you are a sincere, honest, and reverent. Sincerity, yes, you gonna do whatever it takes, um, to be better in yourself. That's the one thing. You are honest, be honest with your feelings around fear. Don't just pack them away. Let it come out. Let them come out. Feel it. But then you got to practice to let it go. And reverent, yeah, it's new change. Try to change. Try to change your belief system. Try to bring change in you. What is the thing which ignites you? It's something you can do.
I love
So,
that. I love that. So this week, remember this, like you as a widow out there, and maybe you're just tuning in because this message somehow applies to you. And if so, that is okay also. But remember, like be authentic, be true to yourself, be sincere, and be open and honest, and be willing to acknowledge those emotions that are coming up for you. And I love that reverent piece as well as
Yes.
they step into this next week. We'll be announcing our next topic after this call today, but we would love to hear from each and every one of you. If you could drop in the chat box, if you're listening back to this live recording, thank you. But drop in the chat box, what are some things that come up, or specifically if it's related to fear or working through some other things, that is what we're going to come back and share with you, because the holidays are upon us, and we know that lots of emotions and feelings are coming up inside, and we'll continue to take you through the steps that we've used to navigate this journey so we can help you along yours as well. For those of you who don't know me, again, my name is Erin Hente. I'm a life coach for widows. I have the pleasure of connecting with Monika. And Monika, I'm going to let you share a little bit about your page and how they can follow you.
Yes, I my page on Facebook, they can reach me through Life with No Compromise. That's my motto, because I have been doing lots of compromise, and I want women to know that, it's a rebirth for you, so we don't need to make any more compromises with our lives. And I understand we've been through lots of pain and everything, but that's my page. And my only thing is bringing awareness in among women who have lost their loved one. It's not end of the world, and we still have hope. It's a time. It's a gifted time given to us till we are on the earth. Let's make our lives better and worthwhile. And yes, please reach me out anytime, any question you have, and let us know if you like our broadcast today, and what would you like to hear, what would you like to for us to bring it in, and we will be diving in straight in.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You can continue to follow both of us. We'll drop links in the comment box below. And just remember, like, stepping through this fear is not easy. Like, I just want to commend you for this journey that you're on, but it can be done. And remember that we're turning that fear into faith today, and we're going to step forward, because that is what courage is all about. And you don't have the ability to control sometimes what's on the other side, but know what you can do on a consistent basis throughout your life to continue to find that balance, so you can get that confidence and you can continue to show up, because
Yes.
there is so much more out there for you in this lifetime. And we're here again to guide you on this journey through whatever is coming up for you in your life today. So thank you so much, everyone, and have a wonderful week.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.